right. What's up, watchers? Hope you all are having a good day. Hope you all are having a good time, because I'm All right. It's not that bad. I'm being dramatic for comedic effect. However, I do have to regale to you all the tale of the last couple of days, so you all know why I am so fucking tired tonight. Okay, so technically this all started Monday. I sent out 15 job applications in a single day. Don't worry about it. Also on Monday, I put together a resume and cover letter, because the thing is that my EI runs out at the end of this month. And I do have some savings. It's not all bad. Like, if I don't find a job this month, I'm not going to become homeless or some shit. Thank God. However, it is getting a little sketchy. You know, I really want to find something soon. So I was like, okay, I'm going to put together a little map of quite literally every business within 20 minutes of walking from my place. Fast food places, retail places, fucking anywhere that I can think of just going in to apply to. That's what I'm gonna do. So that was my plan for Tuesday. So I wake up on Tuesday morning, and my phone says it's minus 18 degrees Celsius outside. For those of you who do not know Celsius, that is negative 0.4 Fahrenheit. So I said, we're waiting a minute. We're waiting a bit for it to get warm out. And so as I was waiting, I was like, okay. Around noon, I was like, all right, I gotta get going. I gotta get my stuff printed off, because I don't have a printer at home, at least not one that works. I have to go get my stuff printed off, and then I'm gonna hand out applications, and then I'm gonna head home, and I'm just gonna have a nice, peaceful evening. Well, I get an email at, like, pretty much as soon as I was ready to leave. That seemed like it was gearing up for an interview, so I'm like, oh, fuck yes. They were just like a few screening questions, so I respond to the screening questions. And then as I am looking up the place that I just did the screening questions for, I get a call from a different place. And this woman on the phone says, hi, I'm from we saw your thing. We want you to come in for an interview tomorrow at noon. Is that all right? I'm like, yeah, that's cool. She's like, okay, cool. I'll send you the rest of the details over text. And then she hung up. And I was like, all right, cool. I got a job interview. And then as soon as that ended, I got an email from the other place. So I'm like, oh, fuck yes. 2 job interviews on the same date. Let's go. We're doing big adult shit today. I opened it up, and it's basically just saying, okay, thanks for the response. We'll consider this during the recruitment process. And I'm like, oh, okay. And the issue is that in the time that it took between me having that phone call and seeing that email, I forgot the name of the woman that called. And more importantly, I forgot the name of the company. And she did not give me an address on the phone. So I waited a little bit longer just to see. And I do some research on my own time, because I remembered one of the words from like the company name. I'm not going to say it because I don't want to dox myself. So I look up on like every job hunting website that I've looked at. I look up like all of the jobs that I've already looked at, all the jobs I've applied to. Yeah, it's basically company A. I look up all the jobs I've sent applications to, and none of them share any part of this company name. So I'm like, all right, fuck. And then I realize after a bit, oh fuck, this woman isn't texting me. What is wrong with my camera? All right, there we go. If I could just not have camera issues today. We're still in yesterday. This isn't even the stuff that exhausted me today. So I do a whole bunch of research. I do reverse phone lookup. That gets me nothing. I check like all my emails to see if I like sent out an email application to this place. Nothing. So at this point, I have no idea what company I'm interviewing for. I have no idea what the job I'm interviewing for is. I have no idea where the company is located. And I have no idea what cover letter I've sent them. So that's great. So I go to the local library because you can print stuff off for cheap there. And so I print off all my fast food, all my other resumes, cover letters, and stuff. And as I'm leaving, this is like 2:30 at this point. This woman called me at 12:30. As I'm leaving at 2:30, I call the woman back. I get voicemail. I'm like, okay, fuck. So I leave a message, and I'm basically saying, hey, I didn't get the text. Can you please get back to me with this? An hour passes. I go, I hand out all my applications. At this point, also, I should mention, it is negative, I believe, 14 outside, which in Fahrenheit is 6.8 degrees. And I have to walk from, like, company to company. Like, I can't, like, I'm not just applying from the comfort of my own home. I am out there in the cold. So I finish all that up. I get home. I try calling again. I get a different voicemail message. So I'm sitting there like, fuck! This is the first interview I've gotten since the middle of December, and I've already fucked it before I even went there. So eventually I have a conversation with my dad, and he's like, hey, this kind of sounds like a fucking scam. And I'm like, huh. You're right. However, it may also not be a scam. I don't know. Because he was just going based on the fact that they wouldn't give me the information over the phone. So, okay. It is now today. My goal was, like, my idea going into today was that I was going to wake up at 9 and I was going to call this lady first thing in the morning to ask for the information, or at least to ask for the address. So, it doesn't help that last night I found a new restaurant near my place, and I was like, oh wait, I don't remember seeing this here before. Fuck yes. Let's try this. I got mild food poisoning from it. So I'm up during the night because of the mild food poisoning. I wake up at 9. I call. I finally get a hold of this lady. And she's like, oh yeah, we're on this street. We're at this address. And I'm like, okay, cool. And she's like, okay, I'll text you the rest of the details manually because we're using this new automated system. It must have just fucked up. So I'm like, okay, sounds good. I look up the company. Or I look up, not the company, I look up the address. She didn't tell me the company's name either. Not in this phone call either. She was like, oh, no, I'm gonna send you a text. I'm like, okay. So, I look it up on Google Maps. It is one of the few big office buildings in my town. There are 6 different companies in this office building. And I still have no idea which one I'm interviewing for at this point. So I'm like, fuck! Alright, okay, we're gonna wing it. We'll do it live! So, I am preparing for my day. I am eating a bowl of cereal. I am dressed. I have my makeup on. I am ready for the interview. The interview isn't until noon, so I don't have to leave until 11:30. I get a second call. It's from a different company. One that is not across the city from me, and one that I was genuinely interested in. They're like, hey, yeah, actually, you applied to us at a really good time. One of our, like, senior staff is retiring, and we're looking for people to kind of help fill in his position. I'm like, oh, fuck yes. All right. And they're like, okay, well, can you do an interview today? I'm like, yeah, sure. And they go, okay, great. Like, we have anything in the afternoon. Are you available then? I'm like, 2:00. And they're like, awesome. So then it's like, I hang up. I have maybe 20 seconds of celebration. And then I realize I need to print off my cover letter for this place again. So, grab a bus, get to the library. I am on the library computers for quite literally, I am not exaggerating, I am not joking here, 1 minute and 33 seconds to get my stuff printed off. As I'm putting the stuff in the plastic folder. I order my Uber. He gets there in 1 minute. Fuck yes, awesome service. Tip that guy. Well, you should always tip your Uber drivers. They don't get paid enough for this shit. But anyways, I tipped him well, is what I'm saying. Get to the place. There's a Starbucks across the street. I'm like half an hour early for this interview. I go in there. I have an overpriced iced drink because I don't like coffee, and I couldn't see on the menu if they had hot chocolate. So I was like, fuck it. We're going with this. And so as I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, what's my angle? Because I still don't know what fucking company I'm interviewing for. And then I have an idea. I'm like, oh wait, this company has multiple floors. So I'm just gonna go in, pretend I didn't see the sign out in the hall, and I'm gonna try calling this lady and say, hey, I'm here for the interview. I'm not sure what floor I have to go to. Chat, it fucking works. She's just like, oh yeah, you go to this floor. And I'm like, fuck yes. And then I look over at the sign and it's like the one floor that doesn't have a company name on it. So it's like, I don't know. Like, I guess that's why my ruse worked as well as it did, was because they already just didn't have it fucking listed. Anyways, I get there. I am already kind of sketched out by the place because they have like these big banners, and it's like right next to the receptionist desk, like advertising working for the company, not advertising their services, advertising working for them. And it has stuff like, oh yeah, we have like weekly and monthly competitions for who gets the most sales. And also like, you get paid commission and you get this and you get that. And there was also a banner that straight up said, refer your friends and family to work here. So I'm sitting here, I'm like, is this an MLM? I go into the office with the lady who seemed to just be the receptionist. Like she was just sitting at the receptionist desk. And then she brings me back to an office, and it has her name on it. And I'm like, all right. This interview, I am not joking, lasts 5 minutes. 5 minutes. And the only question that I am asked is, tell us a bit about yourself. The rest of them, they were just asking me to ask them questions. And I was like, no, this doesn't feel right. And also they mentioned that my job would be like 99% like answering like customer complaints and handling customer complaints. And just from that, I was like, I don't want to fucking work here. I don't want to fucking work here. And they were like, oh yeah, like we'll get back to you at some point. We still have to talk to the director about hiring people. And it's like, what do you mean? Excuse me? And also, it took them a bit to give me a straight answer as to how much I'd get paid. So I left that job. I'm like, I don't want that one. Like, I am not joking, chat. Like, I was having a low-key anxiety attack pretty much the entire time yesterday that I was at the library getting my resumes and cover letters ready. And like half the time that I was actually handing out those resumes and cover letters. Like I was fucking panicking and wanting to cry because I thought that I had fucked up a good opportunity. And then I go there and it's that. And yeah, as it turns out, one of the things I was talking about with my parents, because I mentioned on Blue Sky that I got talking to my parents this evening, and that's why I was a little late. Well, they went deeper down the rabbit hole for me while I was busy. Yeah, place is 100% a scam. Like, all of the reviews on Google are pretty much fake. It turns out that they were, like, bribing people with Amazon gift cards to leave good reviews. And they were like, don't take this fucking job. And I'm like, oh, thank God. Oh, thank God. Thank God someone else sees it too. So, yeah, my second interview, though, went so much better. So I had to take public transport home, and because this thing was like across the city from me, and I didn't want to take another Uber, I had to take a bus to get back there. And of course, it took 2 buses, and one of them was late. So I had to stand out in the fucking cold, negative 15 degrees, which for you Fahrenheit folks out there is 5 degrees Fahrenheit. Not 50, 5. Fucking wait for the bus. I get to the second interview. It's like night and day. I have an amazing interview. I really like the place. I like the job. I'm gonna be driving a bunch, which is something I've never done for a job before, but I welcome it. I like driving. I'm not opposed to driving long distances. I did that for a good chunk of 2019. I had to commute a pretty long distance to get to my job at the time. And that was while I also had a different part-time job at the time. So, oh man, I am never going back to doing that. I could never survive nowadays. So anyways, I finally get back to my place at like 3 o'clock. And then I realize, fuck, I forgot to put my dinner in the crock pot. And everything else needs to be defrosted. So I go to the grocery store. And I do some cooking. I make myself dinner. And then I lie on the couch and pretend that I'm dead for 2 hours. And that was what was leading up to the call with my parents. And that's the last 2 days! So, to recap, I have applied to 30 jobs, and I have had 2 interviews, one of which was almost definitely a scam. So, safe to say I am tired. I am not streaming past 8:30, and I should open up Steins Gate because I have yapped for long enough. Also, I didn't even greet people when they came in. Bitch-ass move from me. So hi, KP. Hi, 100th Assassin. Thank you both for listening to my tale of woe. I really was living in the plot of a 2000s comedy movie. Which is wild, because, like, I didn't think that scams, like, okay. I assume that scams exist in my city. Because, wait, this is the first Steins Gate. Isn't it? Wait, this is the first one, isn't it? It is not! Okay, we're fine. I'm losing my mind here. It's gonna be a special stream today, guys. Special in the sense that I don't have a fucking brain that works at the moment. So don't get mad at me if I forget things. My many thoughts, brains stuffed to the fucking brim. Let's load the data. But yeah, it's like... Love that we're playing a Christmas game. I forget what the fuck I was saying. But yeah, it's not that I don't expect, like, no scams are happening in my city. I just didn't expect them to be in, like, one of the most official-looking office buildings that my city has to offer. Like, that was what surprised me. Welcome, Life! Welcome to the stream! Just finished regaling my tale of woe. Unfortunately, I will not be regaling it again because it took 20 minutes. So, we're not doing that. This is supposed to be a short stream. I wasn't expecting to stream past, like, fucking 8. And to be honest, I might not. I don't know yet. We'll see how tired I am and how quickly we maybe get the bad end. Send it? Oh, you mean in... Okay, yeah, I mean... All good scams have enough money to afford offices. I guess so. The worst part is, too, is that all the fake reviews said things like, I'm a senior and this process was so easy. It's like, oh, you guys know your audience too. Oh God. I do have a VN to finish. I mean, like, send the game content. Oh, okay. I thought you meant in, like, one of the group chats I'm a part of. Because I'm pretty sure you're in the Valor Valkyrie Discord. I would usually say a link in the video description, but that is not my stream. Val is streaming right now, though, is the thing, so I would not be offended if you guys hopped over there to join the Discord. Anyways, Mayuri's voice sounded really excited.
Oh, もちろん.
Of course she did. Mayuri had spent a lot of time preparing for this day. She was probably really looking forward to it.
どうかな? 来られそう?
行くよ。6時からだろ?
今、大学?
いや、和光市。知り合いの教授の研究室みたいなところにお邪魔してる。
She had no idea where Wako City was, did she?
間に合う？
大丈夫だ。
Alright, I forgot to give any kind of recap for what happened last time. A guy tried to shoot us. And then he tried to hit Okabe and Maho and Professor Leskinen and some other guy with his car. And then he got hit with a car. And then he somehow lived long enough to try and shoot us again. And I'm sure other shit happened, but Anita Huntington usually has some sort of high velocity slug flying at Okabe. Yeah, I can do that too. I can do that too. The game's not special. I can do that too. It's been a long time since we've seen this, huh, chat? I expected a lot more Punchachuni moments. We did not have that many Punchachuni moments. There is still more game, though. Okabe could surprise us.
よかった。待ってるね。
We need to have him cosplaying Daru. I mean, we were even just talking about that last stream where it's like, maybe I should make a Punch a Daru. Or I should commission Val to make me a Punch a Daru Chubi. But then Chibi. That's the word. That's the word. I can speak. Like I said, chat, today's gonna be an interesting stream. They're Chubbies now. Jesus. Her voice got fainter on the phone for a second, then I heard the other girls.
オカリンさん、女子全員でサンタコスして待ってます。待ってるにゃ。待ってます。ほら、ルカ君も。僕は女子じゃ。ルカ君もコスプレしてるんですよ。すみません。脱ぎます。今すぐ脱ぎます。あら、もったいない。すごく似合ってるのに。
盛り上がってるな。
Definitely sounds like it.
今、絶賛準備中なのです。マユシーなんか超ミニスカのサンタさんでめちゃくちゃキュートなんですよ。ちなみにパンツの色はピンクでしたぜ。
I don't need to know this.
ああ、ふぶきちゃん何言ってるの。
Oh.
ごめんね、変な話して。とにかく待ってるからね。
ああ。
それじゃあまた後でね。
It sounded like the party had already begun at the lab. And that sure is a friend of some variety. With all those girls there, I'm sure they were having a good time. Luca, you're the only guy. Hang in there. Okabe's like, Luca, objective, survive. I chuckled and put away the phone.
ずいぶん賑やかだったわね。
It was Maho who spoke to me. Actually, only Maho and I were in the room.
今日友達とクリスマスパーティーをやる予定なんだ。
ああ、そういえばもうそんな時期なのね。
君はそういうのには無頓着そうだな。
The only time mentioning that info is appropriate as if it's the color from outer space.
こっちに来てからは特にね。普段はいつもここにいるし、最近会う人といえば警察の人ばかりだし。
I tried to force a laugh at Maho's joke and looked around the room. It was dead silent. The exact opposite of the noisy lab I'd just heard on the other side of the phone, in fact. Nothing had changed since the first time I'd come, which meant that it was still only Maho and Dr. Leskinen that were working here. You wish that was the case. And the professor had been meeting with different researchers all the time since he'd come to Japan, so he wasn't spending much time in the lab. Did that mean Maho was spending most of her time cooped up in here alone? Well, that's normal for a scientist, I guess, but...
よかったらヒヤジョさんも参加するか？
After what happened, she probably needed a chance to blow off some steam.
私？気を使わなくていいわ。こうして一人で研究できる方が気が楽なの。人間関係に煩わされずに済むから。
そんなものか。
Kurisu had said similar things. Kurisu, huh?
それより本題に入りましょう。
Same, to be honest. Like, that's the thing that gets me about job interviews, is that they're always like, oh, well, how are you in working in a team? And I have to be like, I love working in a team! I don't say it like that, but like, you know what I mean. Like, you have to play the people person. I am not a people person. You have to play it up. Like, you have to sell yourself. That's the issue with job interviews. I'm decent at it. Which is probably why, like, the last couple of times that I was unemployed, I actually got a little used to just getting the first job I interviewed for. Like, that happened both of the last times I was unemployed. I would have a job interview, I would do it, and then by the next week, I would know whether or not I had the job, and it was always a yes. Hell, the last time I was unemployed and got a new job, they literally hired me 30 minutes after the interview. So, I'm good at it. I wish I wasn't. No, I don't wish I wasn't, because then I wouldn't be able to get jobs, but like, I wish that I could just, like, I wish I could just be myself in a job interview and have that be fine. I hate the whole fucking charade of it all. But that's the game you gotta play. Always have to play someone you aren't for work, exactly. That's right, I hadn't come all the way to Maho's lab to make small
ク
talk.
リスに謝りたいとさっき言ったわよね。
あ
そのために私のところに来たと。
あ、そうだ。
なぜ？
一人じゃ話しづらいんだ。
それで私に仲裁をしてほしいと。
そういうことになる。
変な人ね、あなた。
Maho's reaction surprised me. Was I that weird? I've played the first game. The answer is yes.
最後に話した時に俺が動揺しすぎたのが悪いんだが、かなり強引に話を打ち切ってしまったんだ。クリスの性格を考えると確実に怒ってる。
You should have saw him before, Maho. I mean, in a different timeline she does, and she's not impressed.
中途半端に繋がっている分、見えないプレッシャーで四六時中ビクビクしている身にもなってくれ。
Dr. Leskinen had been trying to help me out, but I would have felt better if he'd just stripped me of access.
そんなにびくつかなくてもクリスからは連絡しないようになっているわ。そう言ったでしょ。
そうなんだが、喧嘩別れみたいなことにもなりたくないんだ。
I never wanted to go through what I'd experienced in the Alpha world line again. In that world line, I'd never been able to figure out what she was trying to tell me at the end.
まあいいわ。仲裁でも何でもするから要件を済ませてしまいなさいよ。
助かるよ。
せっかくのクリスマスイブなんだから少しは
Why was
気
it- why
の
was there
利
a
いた
quick
ことを言
save?
ってあげたらどう？
ああ、そうだな。
Oh, shit, I should pull up the guide that I was using. Just this way I have it in the future. Steins Gate 0, how to get all endings. Okay, in front of Daru, answer the phone call from Amadeus. Okay. That's not until Pandora's box. We're fine, we're fine. We're fine for now, guys. Not that I had any idea what nice would be.
どうしたの？早くアクセスして。アプリのアイコンをタップするだけでいつでもつながるわ。まさかまた連絡してくるなんて。は？何よ？何なの？
Oh, she totally wasn't expecting that.
いや。
どうも、岡部倫太郎さん。私に何か用でも？もう話したくないんじゃなかった？
いや、その。
My eyes glanced towards Maho for help.
クリス、彼から話があるから少しだけ聞いてあげて。別に聞かないとは言ってませんよ。岡部さんは私とはもう会話を交わしたくないはずではと事実確認をしただけです。
She was mad. I knew it.
ほら、早くしなさいよ。
I took a deep breath and lifted up the phone.
悪かった。
Why are you holding it like that? I bowed my head.
俺なんかに付き合ってくれていたのに、お前のその親切を裏切るような形になってしまった。
I guess, but like you can hold it out with one hand? Like a normal person? Oh, okay, I see.
それにこの前、最後に話した時、急に
He does look silly, that's why I mentioned it.
失礼だったと思ってる。昔あった個人的なことを思い出して混乱してしまったんだ。でもそれはお前には関係ないことだよな。
Looks like he's holding a Pokemon card. Probably a Blastoise. I mean, they are doing that event in Pokemon TCG right now. Where it's like, I don't remember. Yeah, it's a solo battle one, I think. Where you can get, like, a holographic Blastoise. I need to play more Pokemon TCG. I've been too busy the last few days to touch it. You have to let go, Okabe. That Blastoise isn't even first edition.
テスターをやめさせてもらう前にせめて一言だけ謝りたかった。以上だ。
Kurisu was chuckling the same way Maho had just done.
それ本気で言ってるの？
なんだよ。こっちが真面目に謝っているのに笑うなんて。
だって私は人工知能よ。なのにそんな神妙な顔して本気で謝ってくれるなんて。この前私と話すのが照れくさいとも言っていたわね。
Oh yeah, I found a binder of Pokemon cards I bought from a friend. It has an original Charizard in there. Hell yeah, dude. Like, is it a specific original Charizard that goes for, like, the down payment of a house? Or have you just hit the fucking jackpot? I don't keep up with how much Pokemon cards are worth. I do not care. But I do know that, like, one of the original Charizard cards just sells for a fuck ton.
Oh.
That's 2 in one day, Okabe. I think you might just have to accept it. Was it weird to apologize to an AI and mean it? It probably was.
いいわ。正直ちょっと失望していたところだったんだけど、考えを改める。こっちから出す交換条件を飲んでくれたら水に流す。
交換条件だって。
What was she going to make me do? I had a bad feeling about this.
わかった。その条件とやら聞こう。
先輩をディナーに誘いなさい。
All right.
Huh?
It was preserved with all the care of a 9-year-old stuffing cards in a binder, so I probably can't get it graded. Ah, that sucks. Man, I wish that I could find the first ever, like, really special Pokemon card that I had. It was a Metagross EX, back whenever Gen 3 was new. Love that card. I took it with me everywhere. I think it got stolen from me. A lot of things got stolen from me as a kid. Like, I've told my Sims 2 DS story here, right? But that one at first edition graded 9.5 is currently selling for $379,000? What the fuck? That is a house! That's not the down payment on a house, that's just a house! What the fuck? Holy shit!
Huh?
That's how I feel too, Maho! For different reasons, but still. Maho's eyes and mine went wide.
ちょっとクリス、何を言い出すかと思えば。
今日は何の日かご存知ないんですか、先輩。
クリスマスイブ。
Sure is.
そういうことです。
It's the night the singer from Cabinet Man gets killed. Or, well, more killed. I don't know if you can be considered fully alive after stuffing your organs into an arcade machine, but... I mean, those teenagers sure did beat his ass with a baseball bat.
どういうことよ。
If you don't know what I'm referencing there, look up Cabinet Man Lemon Demon. So buying your friend's entire collection is probably the best $100 investment I ever made. Hell yeah, dude.
さあ岡部さん、条件を飲むの？飲まないの？
Why did she look so excited?
わかったよ。
fair life.
ヒアジョさん、さっき話したパーティー、正式に君を招待する。ぜひ来てほしい。
パーティー？
友達と集まってクリスマスパーティーをやるんだよ。
そうじゃないでしょうが。あ、いや、でもいきなり二人きりだとハードル高いし、逆にいいか。
She's trying to hook the two of them up. Imagine having an AI be your wingman. Actually, you know what? No, that sounds like a fucking nightmare.
クリス、それ以上からかうと怒るわよ。
At least with our version of AI, that sounds like a fucking nightmare.
私はパーティーなんて行かないわ。
だったら私も岡部さんを許しませんが。
ヒアジョさん、頼む。
どうしてこんな話になっているのよ。
If it was an intelligent, cute anime girl, maybe.
先輩のために気を利かせてあげてるんじゃないですか。
あなたね。そもそも今日はこの後教授が帰ってくるのを待って研究の報告をしないといけないし。
いやあ、リタロウ、マホ、何の話かな？
Perfect timing! Dr. Leskinen walked in at the perfect moment. Maho looked relieved. Rintaro! Maho looked relieved and went to open the file on her desk.
おかえりなさい、教授。これが今日集計したデータなんですが。
マホ、ストップ。二人ともこれから出かけないかい？せっかくのクリスマスイブだ。仕事はもう終わりにして食事でも行こう。
The more reasonably priced ones on eBay are going for 10K. That's still a fucking lot.
それとも制約があるのかな？
Alright, Amadeus, it's time for you to Time for you to chime in.
教授ナイス。
All right, Chris has a cell phone now. Yeah. Yeah.
Huh?
For unfortunate reasons.
教授俺の友達がクリスマスパーティーを開くんですがよかったらご一緒に
I don't. Considering what was being talked about on the phone call about the party, I don't know if this grown-ass man should be seeing a bunch of high schoolers in miniskirts. Like, I don't trust like that. I don't trust like that. Dr. Luskin is probably a cool dude, but I don't trust like that.
素晴らしい。ぜひ参加させてもらおう。
I love how thick his accent was on Subarashi. Subarashi. I didn't even get to finish my sentence.
もちろん、魔法も行くんだろ
Sorry, Maho, you're getting peer pressured. That was the moment when Maho's last hope of escape was cut off.
決まりですね。
You've been voluntold, Maho. Kurisu smiled mischievously from within the screen. She was quite the plotter. The real Kurisu used to do silly things like this too.
ねえ岡部。
Why did the music cut off? When she called my name, I gasped.
私なんかに本気で謝ってくれてサンクス。嬉しかった。
あいや
気が向いたらまたいつでも話しかけてきて。暇つぶしぐらいには付き合うから。
気が向いたらな。
ええ。それじゃあまた。真帆先輩をよろしく。
クーリス満足したかしら。
ああ
The wink. I felt more relieved than I thought I would. I realized that I really did love Kurisu Makise.
でも人工知能に謝るのはそんなに変か？俺の友達この前メイクインで紹介したあいつなんかいつも二次元の女の子に土下座してるぞ。
そういう精神性は私にはちょっと。
Oh, that freaked her out. Bad example.
とにかくヒアジョさんのおかげで助かった。
クリスの交換条件なんか律儀に守る必要はないわよ。
まあでも教授も行く気満々みたいだし。
The professor flashed his white teeth at me.
それにクリスと約束したからさ。
あなた本当に変わっているわ。
But even as she said it, she was smiling. I guess she decided to go to the party. I don't think she really has a choice. Oh, hi, Suzuha. Oh, okay.
ダメなんだよ、鈴葉お姉ちゃん。そんなことしちゃいけないんだ。
That's a fucking shift. All right. Okay. This is what's happening now, I guess.
世界を変えちゃいけないんだ。お姉ちゃんはおかしいこと言ってる。この世界を消すなんてダメだよ。絶対にやらせないから。
Huh? There were bullet marks on the inside of the time machine. Suzuha. Oh, okay, this is a flashback. This is a flashback, okay. Suzuha traced them with her fingers and remembered what had happened here. That was the last time she talked to Kagari. She'd never been able to find her after that.
鈴葉、どうしたん？ぼーっとして。もしかしてまだ体調悪い？
え？
Suzuha looked back and saw her father, Itaru. He seemed worried. He was holding a bolt in his hands and offering it to her.
ああ、ごめん。大丈夫。
She nodded and took the bolt.
うーん。
They were on top of the radio building where a cold wind was blowing. A light was shining down the rear of the time machine, where the engine was. Her head was inside as she did maintenance work. Itaru was wandering around in the background. Normally, she would never let him near the time machine, but today he'd absolutely insisted on coming.
病み上がりの娘を心配しない親はいないっつうの。
Suzuha had spent the last several days unable to stand up because she hadn't taken care of herself. There was nothing she could say back to him.
なあ、時空間の転移とか重力制御とかヤバそうな装置は絶対にいじらないからさ。僕にも手伝わせてくんない？
ダメ。
機械のメンテなら多分鈴葉より僕の方が詳しいのだぜ。
それは分かってる。けどダメ。
Itaru slumped forwards, dejected, but Suzuha had no intention of discussing it.
なあ鈴葉、今日はもう暗いしさ、寒いしさ、続きは明日にするべきだって。そろそろ帰ろう。
父さん一人で帰ればいい。私はまだやることがあるから。
今日もかがりたんを探すん？オカリンにも協力してもらえることになったんだからさ。鈴葉一人でそこまで無理しなくてもいいんじゃね？風邪治ったばっかりなんだし、しばらくはかがりたん探しはやめにすべき。
That made her a little mad.
それ、私に無断でオカリンおじさんに話してほしくはなかった。
Suzuha had told Itaru that she was spending every day looking for Kagari, but it was only later that she'd found out that he'd told Rintaro. It wasn't a problem, but her relationship with Rintaro was already a bit strained, and this only made it harder for her to ask him to get back in the time machine.
つうか、さっきからずいぶん苦戦してね。
締めにくい角度にボルトがあるんだ。
どれ？僕が変わろう。それくらいならいいっしょ。
うん。
Suzuha pulled her head out of the engine unit.
顔中油だらけじゃん。せっかくの美人が台無しだ。
そういうことは母さんに言ってあげなよ。
それはハードル高すぎ。
Itaru stuck his face inside the machine and began to look around.
ああ、この構造だと多分こっちのパイプを後からはめたんだな。先にパイプを外すといいよ。パイプの中に冷却用の液体かなんかが通ってるはずだから、まずこっちのバルブを使って中を空にするわけ。
このマシンってメンテナンスのことをあんまり考慮に入れてないと思う。
まったくだお。すげえめんどくせえ。
Alright, I guess we're gonna figure out what the hell that stands for. WAPITA, acronym for what a pain in the ass. I'm gonna have to remember that one. I feel like I'm gonna be able to use it a lot.
作ったの誰だと思ってるわけ？
Wapita.
僕。
Itaru sighed and started to concentrate on his work. He did his job silently, twisting his massive body to the left and right. Watching him, Suzuha remembered her childhood. When she was younger, she loved watching her dad make the time machine.
父さん、私最近なんだか自分でも自分が理解できなくなってきてさ。こんなこと考えるなんて おかしいんだけど、この世界をなくしてしまって本当にいいのかなって。
Her mind flashed back to young Kagady's screams. You can't erase this world, huh? She'd never forgotten the look in Kagady's eyes, and she'd never been able to shake the feeling that they were watching her, somehow.
私のミッションが成功するとさ、マキセ・クリスは死なずにシュタインズゲートへの門が開くんだ。
うん。
そしたら今のこの世界、父さんも母さんもまゆ姉さんもルミ姉さんもオカリンおじさんもみんななかったことになってしまう。
うん。
今の私が今の父さんに会ったこともなくなってしまう。
ん？これって告白シーン？セーブしとくべきとこ？
Please stop saying these things to your daughter! Please, Daru! For 5 fucking seconds! Can you be normal? Suzuha said nothing and poked her dad's calf with her toes.
真面目な話をしてるんだ。今度ふざけたら蹴るよ。
迷ってるのか？まあ、そのなんだ。別にいいんじゃね？
え？
今が消えてもいいんじゃね？だってこの先人が大勢死ぬんだろ？そんなの嫌じゃん。
父さん。
鈴葉はいろいろと考えすぎだお。戦争なんて嫌だ。だから世界を変えるんだ。そのくらい単純でいいと違うん？
How did this man get a wife in the first place? It must be one of those like attractor field things. Like that's the only explanation. It's like how fucking Mayuri was fated to die. This man is fated to get a wife somehow.
つかさ、僕戦争なんて行きたくないし、鈴葉と違ってこん
He
な
is
人
actually
間だ
fit
か
in the
ら、
future, but like
戦場なんかに連れて行かれたら3日も持たないね。
だらしないな。幻滅だよ。
Suzuha sighed, turned around, and started to walk away. He does, that's true.
どこ行くん？
顔洗ってくる。油でベタベタだ。そのボルト閉めたらカバーも閉じておいてくれる？父さんの言う通り、今日はかがりを探すのはやめておくよ。
お、それがいいよ。一緒に帰ろう。
うん。
Cute. Suzuha looked up at the moon. At the moon! If I can speak English, that would be great! Moon. That's what Ferris would call it. Suzuha looked up at the moon, shining in the cloudy winter sky. She let out a puff of white breath. The white breath danced in the air for a moment and then disappeared into the cold.
父さん、
ん？
幻滅とか嘘だから。父さんは銃を持って戦争をする人じゃない。未来でもそうだった。いつも逃げ回るのが仕事。
ええ、未来の僕、ダメ人間すぐる。
Daru, I hate to say this, but that means nothing's changed.
けど、それでいいんだ。父さんには別の戦いがあるし、そのために私たちがついてるんだから。
鈴葉。
だから、父さんこそ変に頑張ろうとしないで。日本は安全だなんて思い込みは捨てること。この前、オカリンおじさんだって襲われたんだ。 いつ父さんが標的になってもおかしくない。
That is true. And they do know where the lab is. We saw that in a past timeline.
戦争前夜なんだよ。今はね。
For about 2 weeks now, someone had been watching Suzuha in the time machine. It was clear that some great power was on the move.
オーキードーキー。
Suzuha nodded, satisfied at Itaru's answer, and went to the bathroom to wash her face. Back to this guy! The lab was filled with Santas, just like I'd heard on the phone. And all of them were wearing miniskirts.
ああ、おかえり。来たにゃ来たにゃ。準備はバッチリですよ。どうも、メリクリです。オカリンさん、こんばんは。
おう。
The sight of so many girls in a small room like this, all wearing Santa miniskirts, threatened to overwhelm me. Hi, Luca. You don't look happy. I was having trouble to decide where to look when Lukako staggered in front of me.
おかべさん。
ルカ子。
What are you wearing, man? I didn't expect a Santa in black. And wasn't he exposing an awful lot of skin? Yeah, he's bearing his midriff. It was really erotic. But he's a guy. Okabe, you're allowed to be bisexual, it's alright.
おかべさん。僕。
ルカ子。なんていうか。お疲れ。
Objective success. It must have been hard being the only guy. I gave him a pat on the shoulder, and he smiled, relieved. Good job, soldier.
私もサンタ服着たかったな。じゃあ来年はなえちゃんの分も作ってあげるね。本当？うん。ありがとう、まゆりお姉ちゃん。えへへ。さあ、オカリ。
I love the decorations. They're so cute. I love the stars up everywhere.
ダルと鈴葉は
It is kind of weird to me to see that there are stars on the TV screen too, because at every Christmas party that I've been a part of, the TV is always set to a fucking Yule log video. Like one of those fireplace videos. Every time there's a Christmas thing happening. Anytime there's a TV in the same room as the Christmas stuff, you put on the Yule log, and you trick people into thinking that someone just poked the logs. That is a running joke with my family, where like if everyone else is preoccupied with something, someone will look over at the TV and go, dude, I just saw the guy poke the fire. And of course everyone looks, and it didn't happen, because I don't think that happens in most of those videos. And it's just, it is a permanent running joke in my family every single Christmas. Just, oh look, I saw the guy with the poker. Everyone's like, bullshit, you did not. They did on some of the channels I used to watch? All right then. Then the joke has some merit, because pretty much every time that I've seen it, like, I will keep an eye on the TV sometimes. And like, 90, like, I have not seen a I have not seen a single fire poker in any one of those videos. That's why we joke about it, because we all assume that it didn't happen. Or maybe it was in like one of the videos of like one of like the big, like that, the one that we put in the background of like one of the big family Christmases back when we still did those. And then someone saw it and no one believed them, and that was where the joke started. I don't know, man. I was probably watching videos on my iPod. The biggest goal today was to get Suzuha to participate. It was no exaggeration to say that's why Mayuri had held this party.
ちなみに 客様は？
I told them earlier that I was bringing Dr. Leskinen and Maho. I brought the two of them inside.
紹介する。レスキネン教授だ。
Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas!
おお、あら。おっきい。
ありがとう、キュートなお嬢さん。
でもお父さんの方がおっきい。
He sure fucking is. That man's a unit.
それともう一人、ヒア城真帆さんだ。
どうも、はじめまして。おお、あら。
Are we gonna say she's tiny?
マホニャン、また会ったにゃ。
All right.
ニャンニャンの人。
It's the Nyan Nyan girl.
小学生？中学生？
Hi.
これでも成人しているのよ。ごめんなさい。
Maho's smile froze on her face.
なぎりちゃん、どう思う？二人とも逸材だよ。マユシーは妄想がはかどります。
Huh?
なえちゃんの分も
What are you
含め
planning?
て小さめのサイズを用意しておけばよかった。マユシー、一生の不覚だよ。
Oh no.
そのリトルサンタコンビは見たかったな。だよね。
Mayuri had her in her sights then. There was no escape for Maho now. Mayuri was so stubborn she'd even managed to convince the legendarily shy Lukako.
教授先生の方は？あの身長に合うコスは作ったことないよ。存在だけですでに勝ちだけどね。もふもふトナカイさんの着ぐるみを着てもらいたいかも。赤鼻もつけて。それはどうかな。
Wait, were they seriously going to dress the professor up as a reindeer?
まゆり、誰も彼もコスプレ趣味を理解してくれるとは思わない方がいいぞ。
そうだね。無理強いするのは良くないよね。でも最近はコンビニなんかでもクリスマスには店員さんがサンタさんの格好をしていますよ。コミマとクリスマスだと性質はだいぶ違いますよね。
Or so you say, but basically you want to dress the two of them up in Santa outfits, don't you?
というわけで、マホさん、サンタ服よかったらマユシーのを貸しましょうか？
I think the answer to that is going to be a solid no, Mayuri. Mayuri was already going after her. Maho refused as forcibly as she could, but Dr. Leskinen was surprisingly interested. He had been trying to put on a triangular paper party hat. It's adorable.
ダルくんから連絡来たよ。もうすぐ作ってすずさんと一緒。
Mayuri was looking at her smartphone. It looked like Daru had pulled it off. I guess he really was Suzuha's dad. This meant we'd succeeded in our biggest objective, which meant it was on to the next mission. We'd all decided that we were going to surprise Suzuha. Suzuha didn't know that we were all waiting for her. We each grabbed a noisemaker and got into position. I don't know if that's a good idea. Like, those better not be the kind of noisemakers that, you know, make like a loud popping sound, is all I'm saying. Dr. Leskinen and Maho helped too. Maho seemed unsure, but Dr. Leskinen was more than willing to participate.
電気を消すにゃ。 鈴葉さんのびっくりした顔なんてなかなか見られないもんね。でも実はとっても甘いもの好きなのにゃ。それにとても親切なんですよ。この前挨拶したら返してくれたよ。へえ、私ももっと鈴葉さんと仲良くできたらいいな。
Aw, Yuki.
きっと大丈夫。相性はぴったりだよ。
For reasons I don't think you know, Mayuri. Then we heard Daru's voice from outside the window, in the alley below the building.
よし、中へ入るぞ。鈴葉と一緒に中へ入るぞ。
His voice was loud and unnaturally expository. Once he got below the lab, he was supposed to give a signal. Everything was going as planned. We all went shh at each other in the darkness. I could hear 2 sets of footsteps coming up the stairs. Everyone held their breath and waited. Timing was critical. Would she be able to figure it out before we acted? The room was filled with different smells, like the girl's perfume and the aroma of the food they'd made. Didn't Suzuha always notice these things more quickly than an ordinary person would? I started to get worried. And then I heard the sound of the front door opening.
あれ、今日は誰も来てないんだね。
そういう日もあるよ。
Your fucking voice! Why did you say it like that? Daughter, you idiot, your voice is shaking. I need to hear this again.
そういう日もあるよ。
I do that on purpose. You did that on accident. I got even more nervous. Was it time yet? Where was the signal? I felt like my hands were going to slip up and trigger the noisemaker too early. My palms were soaked with sweat. I could tell Suzuha was taking off her shoes. Ferris gave the signal. Bad idea! Bad idea for these noisemakers! The second the lights went on, we all activated our noisemakers. I could see Suzuha flinch for just an instant. But I couldn't follow what happened after that. That's how fast she was. She dropped down, sprung off the floor, and leapt towards Yuki, who happened to be standing in front of her. She might have broken Yuki's jaw with the base of her palm before I could shout at her to stop. Fortunately, Yuki had been surprised by Suzuha's sudden charge, and had slipped when she tried to step back. Because of this, Suzuha's palm barely missed Yuki's nose as it sliced through the air. By the time I'd finally shouted, it was all over. Suzuha had grabbed Yuki before she fell down and was holding her up. Yuki, Suzuha, and all the rest of us were too stunned to speak. That was close. If the timing of events had been even slightly different, Yuki could have been badly hurt.
ストップだにゃー。メリークリスマスだよ。
Everyone finally realized what had happened and began to panic. Yuki simply lay in Suzuha's arms, blinking her eyes.
何してるの？
Daru's fucking face. Ferris's is good too, but like... Suzuha seemed to snap back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity. She was looking around at everyone.
だからメリークリスマスだよ、すずさん。メリークリスマス。そう。びっくりした。すごい動きだったわね。僕、早すぎて見えませんでした。ユキさん、大丈夫
？Suzuha was looking around the room. Did she still not understand what was going on? Did she not realize it was a party since she'd never been to one before? The walls and ceiling were covered with wreaths and ribbons. There was a folding table filled with food, cakes, snacks, and drinks.
パーティー？ごめんなさい。びっくりさせようって言い出したの私なんです。
Yuki backed away from Suzuha and started to bow apologetically.
鈴葉、これはなんつうかサプライズってやつを演出してみたわけで、みんな決して悪気があったりとかじゃなくって。 鈴葉
父さん、兄さんも知ってたの？
うん。
そっか。だから今日はなんか変だったんだ。ごめんね、すずさん。企画したのはマユシーなんだよ。だからユキさんやダルくんを怒らないで。おごるならマユシーにして。
And that's really hard to do.
やだな、マユ姉さん。私そんなにいつも怒ってる？
Suzuha looked around the room again.
ふーん、すごいね。いつものラボとは思えないや。でしょ？みんなで飾り付けしたんだよ。うん、本当にすごい綺麗だ。
Suzuha laughed half-heartedly and began backing toward the door.
どこ行くの？あ、どこって、まゆ姉さんたちパーティーするんでしょ？邪魔しちゃ悪いからさ。もう兄さんってば気が利かないよな。こんなところに私がいても仕方ないじゃないか。そんなことないにゃん。一緒にやろうにゃ、パーティー。え？でも私こういうのしたことないし。楽しくご飯食べたりおしゃべりしたりするだけだよ。だからね。
Mayuri grabbed Suzuha's hand tightly to keep her from getting away.
まゆ姉さん？
ほら、鈴葉の席もちゃんと用意できてるのだぜ。
けど本当にどうしたらいいのか私。
いいから座れっつーの。
すずさん。
Peer pressure in action once again! Mayuri half-dragged Suzuha over to the seat next to me and forced her to sit down. This is the awkwardest day of Suzuha's life.
これで全員揃った。
Every kitty?
はい、拍手拍手。
Congratulations! Everyone started to applaud at Fubuki's signal. Daru played some Christmas carols on the computer. The grim atmosphere that had begun to fill the room was banished. I felt a little relieved.
それじゃあまず乾杯をするにゃ。グラスに好きな飲み物を注いでにゃ。
Everybody started to look at the various drinks on the table.
ほら、鈴葉。
Suzuha still looked like she was feeling like she didn't belong, so I poured her some non-alcoholic champagne.
うん。
I've never tried champagne before. I've meant to. A couple times now, actually. I've actually considered having champagne for, like, one of the drinking streams, but I've never gotten around to it. Which is weird, because I'm pretty sure at LCBO you can just get, like, really small bottles of champagne, and they're not super expensive. So it's not even like it's an unfeasible thing. I don't alcohol, so shrug. Fair enough, fair enough.
やっぱり私無理だよ、こういうの。
なんで？
だって遊ぶためにこの時代へ来たわけじゃない。
The reason she came to this era, huh? I didn't have the right to say anything about that. I was the only reason that she was stuck here, unable to fulfill her task. But even so.
たまにはいいじゃないか。
でも
鈴葉は考えすぎだっつーの。
Daru joined the conversation.
みんなとご飯食べるだけだって。どのみちお腹は空いてるっしょ。
それは。
Maybe Daru's statement caused her to realize it because her stomach rumbled.
ほれ見ろ。みんながいろいろ作ってくれたんだから、ありがたくいただけばいいんだって。
みんな飲み物の用意はいいかにゃ。 それでは今回のパーティーを企画したマユシ一言どうぞにゃ。
Alright, Mayuri, it's your turn to get peer pressured. This time it's into public speaking. Get ready! Mayuri stood up, flustered. As she stood, she bumped into Lukako, who was standing next to her. Two of them almost spilled their drinks.
うわー、ルカ君ごめんね。マユリちゃん落ち着いて。
Love that the little alien in the background even has a little Santa hat on. It's adorable. Mayuri started to take deep breaths.
今日はクリスマスイブなのです。どこもリア充さんでいっぱいだけど、今年はマユシーたちもパーティーをしてリア充さんになろう。いや、それリア充の意味が違うと思うな、マユシー。
Fubuki whispered, a little sad.
ふぶきちゃん、何人もの後輩ちゃんからクリスマスデートに誘われたのよね。それはもう熱烈に。全員女の子の後輩だけどね。
Hell yeah!
とにかくみんなが楽しんでくれればマユシーは嬉しいな。終わりです。
Mayuri gave a little bow and smiled to Suzuha. Suzuha answered with an expression that wasn't quite a smile.
それじゃあ乾杯するにゃ。マホにゃん、温度よろしくにゃ。え？私？
Maho didn't even sign up for this! Not really!
せっかく来てくれたんやから自己紹介も兼ねてよろしくにゃ。
Oh god. Maho stood up with a slight frown and thought for a moment before she opened her mouth.
今日は皆さんの集まりに招待してくれてありがとう。私とレスキネン教授はアメリカ在住なので、こうして日本でクリスマスを迎えるのは初めてです。こういう友人同士での賑やかなクリスマスもとてもいいものだと。何か面白いこと言ってにゃ。
Come on, Ferris! We were having a moment!
面白いことにゃ。
Ferris, you're crazy. She sure is. Uh-oh, she was totally losing it. She was worse than Mayuri had been a moment ago. It was hard to believe I'd seen her interpreting in front of that huge crowd at ATF. Was she bad at ad-libbing? I'm sorry, what? You couldn't think of what to do, so you did your best Revolver Ocelot impersonation? Maho's desperate attempt at something interesting was cute, but honestly a little embarrassing. Felt like watching a small, adorable animal.
うおー、マホにゃん、猫耳メイドの素質があるにゃ。マホリンニャンニャン誕生の瞬間だね。
Ferris and Mayuri were the only ones who seemed really impressed.
私ったら何を言っているのかしら。
ヒアジョーさん、そろそろ乾杯を。
そうね、そうするわ。それじゃあ乾杯。乾杯。
Kanpai! Everybody happily clinked their glasses together. Since I was the one who invited Maho to the party, I decided to cheer her up.
面白い乾杯の挨拶だったよ。
自己嫌悪だわ。
Understandable. I am getting a bad ending. Welcome, souls. You've come in a little bit late. The stream isn't gonna be too much longer, I don't think. I don't know how long it is until we get the actual ending. Because I'm pretty sure that it said that I need to be in like a different chapter before I can make the decision that gets us there. But the puns are not helping right now, Leskinen.
まほにゃん、いつからメイクインで働いてくれるにゃ？そんなつもりはないから。
Ferris and Dr. Leskinen were both enjoying trying to make her feel better.
すずさん、乾杯だよ。すずさん、私は。あ、うん。
Nice, that's a good dinner. Suzuha still had a somber look on her face, but Mayuri, Yuki, and Daru forced her into a toast.
はい、すずさん。これ、マユシーが作ったんだよ。
Good joke. Mayuri put a piece of quiche on a plate and gave it to Suzuha. When Suzuha took a bite, her expression began to shine.
おいしい。本当？うん。もっと食べて。どんどん食べて。そんな一度に食べられないよ。あ、そう？
Mayuri's acting like my grandma right now. It's like we'll be halfway, like before we start dinner, she's like, oh, I have this, and I have this, and I also have this, and I also have this, and these are the drinks, and I also have this for drinks, and I also have this. And we're like, okay, Nan, awesome. And then we're like halfway through dinner and she's like, oh, well, I got this for dessert, and I also got this, and there's also ice cream, and there's also this. And we're like, Jesus Christ, we're not even done with our plates yet. I guess that's just the grandma instinct. Next, Mayuri offered the quiche to Maho and the professor.
マホさんとレスキネンさんもどうぞ。ありがとう。
おいしい。これはおいしいですね。
えへへ。じゃあこちらもどうぞ。エビグラタンとあとフライドチキンはエスニック風にしてみました。
Excellent。
凝っているんですね。
Yuki went around and offered everyone something to eat. But she couldn't bring herself to offer any to Suzuha. Mayuri kept motioning for her to go over, but Yuki just kept fidgeting. Understandable, understandable. Maybe she was thinking about it too much. But Suzuha kept devouring all the food that Mayuri and Yuki had prepared and gushing over each dish. The two of them had been practicing their cooking for about a month here in the lab. I guess it paid off.
あ、ケーキもあるよ。楓さんがデコレーションしてくれたんだ。あんまり上手にできなかったけど、許してね。楓さんって不吉祥さんだもんね。でも、そんな楓さんが萌えだよ。ちっとも褒められてる気がしないわ。
Everyone laughed. Then about an hour after we started eating, when she saw that everyone had eaten enough food, Ferris clapped her hands together loudly to draw everyone's attention.
さてさて、皆さん、盛り上がってきたところで、そろそろプレゼント交換をしたいと思うんだにゃ。私たち、間に合わせのものしか用意できなかったけど。
Maho and the professor had stopped at Don Quixote on their way from Wako City and spent just 10 minutes picking out presents.
大丈夫。それでバッチリだにゃ。私、持ってきてない。
鈴葉の分は僕とマユシで準備してきたお。
マユシーが選びました。そうなんだ。ごめん。
気にしなくていいのだぜ。
いいのだぜ。
Mayuri mimicked Daughter's words as she pulled out 2 small wrapped parcels from her bag and put them on the table. They both had the same wrapping as the one Daughter was holding. They must have bought them at the same place. Mayuri had already explained to me Operation Number 2. Mayuri's plan for the evening was not only to make Suzuha smile, but to bring Yuki and Daru a little closer together.
プレゼント交換の方法なんだけど、いろいろ考えて結局くじ引きにしたに
Presents. Ferris gathered together everyone's presents and put little stickers with numbers on them.
にゃんにゃにゃ
And then she lifted a bundle of disposable chopsticks up above her head.
これはマユシーが今夜王様ゲームをやろうとして持ってきたものだにゃ。言わないでよフェリスちゃん。
おいマユリ、王様ゲームっていうのは合コンの時とかにするもんだぞ。
I don't know what that is.
わかってるよ。ちょっと勘違いしただけだもん。
ま、女の子から命令されるのって僕は大好物だけどね。
Thanks for the input, Daru.
橋田さん、本当に変態さんですね。ということで、マユシーがちょっと勘違いしちゃったこの割り箸をくじ引き用に使わせてもらうにゃ。引いた番号のプレゼントをゲットできるのにゃ。
Ferris loudly shuffled all the chopsticks, then went around to everyone so they could draw one. She was also part of Mayuri's plan. In fact, Mayuri and Ferris were sending signals to each other with eye contact and with their fingers. While everyone was focusing on the chopsticks, they were busy relabeling Yuki and Daru's presents. They were so obvious about it that I started to get nervous that Yuki would find out.
みんな引いたかにゃ。それじゃあプレゼントを渡すにゃ。中身を見るのはみんなに行き渡ってからにゃぞ。ワクワクしますね。何が当たるかな。
Ferris and Mayuri passed out the presents according to the numbers everyone drew. Once the presents were handed out, everyone started to take off the wrapping paper. Nai was the first to react as she gave out a very strange cry. Inside her box was a skull face.
それかっこいいでしょ。ベルトのバックルだよ、大ちゃん。学校につけてったらきっと人気者だと思うな。ありがとう。
Sorry, Nai. Lukako, you terrified her. I was feeling bad for Nai, but when I took out my own present...
誰だこれは。
The box had a cute design, and inside it was what looked like a see-through white veil. The veil was decorated here and there with little pink ribbons. This can't be a...
ん？ああ、オカリンさんのところへ行ったか。そのままマユシーにプレゼントしてあげるといいよ。
You really do want those two to hook up, huh?
そんなことできるか。
オカリンさんのためなら喜んで来てくれるって。
どうしてそういう話になるんだ。
なになに？マユシーがどうかしたの？
Mayuri heard her own name and came over.
それって何かな？
Yeah, Fubuki is shipping them really hard.
ベビードールだよ、マユシ。しかも超可愛くてセクシーなやつ。
Oh, I see. I thought it was a wedding veil. I see. Okay. All right. I see. Baby doll, a type of lingerie worn by women, notable for its wide hem that fluffs out.
そんなわけにはいかないだろう。
それならオカリンさんが自分で来てもいいんですよ。
Jesus Christ,
これ
Fubuki.
は返す。いくらでも自分で楽しんでくれ。
I pushed the baby doll lingerie back into Fubuki's hands.
じゃあこっちと交換します？
Fubuki handed me her present in exchange. Is it gonna be more lingerie? The wrapping and lid had already been removed. I took a quick look inside. Sexy pink shorts and a pink bra. Yup, they were see-through. Jesus Christ, people.
私が持ってきたプレゼントです。
So much for keeping the presents PG for 9. So far, Lukako has the best gift. And he gave a belt buckle to a 12-year-old. They don't know what the fuck to do with those. I know, I was 12.
嬉しいです。どうぞ。
Why are you getting it on this too?
君たちにはそういう発想しかないのか。
マユシーはもうオカリンからプレゼントもらったからいいよ。
Mayuri had drawn my present. Perhaps because we were childhood friends. By the way, I'd chosen a huge chunk of chocolate in the shape of a gold bar. Kind of thing you find in a Don Quixote bargain bin.
オカリンさんさ、もうちょっとなんかなかったの？
うるさいな。パーティーではこういうのがウケるって雑誌に書いてあったんだ。
いや、これはないわ。ないわね。
Look, at least it's something everyone can enjoy. Look, if I got a huge hunk of chocolate for Christmas, I would be happy with that. That's basically what I did get for Christmas this year. I mean, I didn't get a huge hunk of chocolate. It was a big, it was a gift basket. It was full of Laura Secord chocolates. Very good. I've almost eaten all of them already. It's been like 2 weeks. And I ate most of them on the first week.
なんだって。
Not even a chance? Magazine said it was a sure thing. Still have a bunch of chocolate left for Christmas. Yeah, you see, like, chocolate's a great gift. Chocolate is a good gift. Got a Kit Kat bar for Christmas. Very nice. Kit Kats are good.
マユシーは嬉しいよ。だって金の延べ棒だよ。こんなの一生触れないよ。
Good to think positively.
いい子だ、マユシーは。
She got a huge hunk of chocolate! She didn't take a fucking bullet! Surprising considering past years, especially in this timeline. That was a little dark. Yeah.
本当にいい子ね。よしよし。
Fubuki and Kaede were patting Mayuri's head, half out of sympathy and half because she was cute. Somehow, I ended up as the bad guy.
じゃあ次は私が開けてみますね。
Yuki started to open her present. She took out a cute wooden music box. When she opened the lid, there was a little tin figure that danced.
すごい可愛い。素敵ね。
Finally, somebody gets a good gift that everyone agrees is good.
ロマンティックです。いいな。
The girls all seemed really impressed. But Lukako is a guy. Definitely looked like something a woman would enjoy receiving. With as many girls as there were coming to this party, it might have been the perfect choice. Wait, maybe I should have brought something like that. But then I realized that the idea never even once occurred to me.
これ一体誰からのものにゃ？
Ferris, you're making it too obvious.
あ、僕。
Daughter reluctantly raised his hand.
うわあらまあ。タルおじさんすごいね。ふーん。やるね、兄さん。
Everyone except Mayuri and Ferris, who knew about it in advance, raised their voices in surprise.
これ橋田さんなんですね。
どうかな。マユシからアドバイスしてもらって選んだだけなんだけどさ。
Okay, you're blowing it, man.
ありがとうございます。大切にしますね。
Yuki held the music box close to her chest. She seemed really happy.
あ、
And then her expression turned confused as she looked down into the box. Then she started to fidget. Did they put a ring in there?
私ちょっと
She hurried off towards the washroom, still holding the box. She must have seen the trick. According to what Mayuri had told me earlier, there was a fake letter from Daru himself taped to the bottom of the box. It was something like a love letter, along with an invitation to a movie date. I wondered how she was reacting. Meanwhile, Daru had also opened his own present, and he looked a little bothered. He'd been given Ferris's present. Until he opened it, he looked really happy, but now he'd gone completely silent. According to Mayuri, he was going to get a pair of movie tickets. And even though it was a present from Ferris, the tickets came with instructions to use them for a date with Yuki. Ferris responded to Daru's questioning gaze with a wink. Good luck, Nya, she seemed to be saying. For her part, Ferris received some kind of strange doll that Maho had bought at the Don Quixote. Lukako's present was a miniature remote-controlled helicopter that Dr. Leskinen had purchased. That's a good fucking gift! And Dr. Leskinen got a set of 12 cute little crayons from Nai. That's adorable! Suzuha's present was a pair of handmade gloves. Yuki had evidently made them herself. She put them on looking happy, but maybe a little lonely, and smiled.
鈴葉よかったじゃん。
っていうか兄さんは何が当たったの？
これ
You got a date! Daru realized he'd been set up and he was clearly avoiding looking at her. Suzuha seemed to understand and patted him on the back with a gentle expression on her
い
face.
いんじゃない？行ってきなよ。
なんだお鈴葉まで。
だって二人を見てるとじれったいからさ。
けどリアルでデートなんかしたことないし。
母さんもそうらしいよ。
え、そうなん？そっか。
Yuki came back from the bathroom. She seemed to be having trouble walking straight. She sat back in her seat but began to nervously nibble on snacks at the table. And once in a while, she would take a look at Daru. For now, the movie ticket plan seemed to be going well. Staring too much could tip her off. I should probably pretend I didn't know anything.
マユシーが用意したオルゴールは真帆さんに行ったんだね。
Aw, cute! Mayuri raised her voice when she saw the music box in Maho's hands. It was shaped like a deformed bear, and when you wound it up, its hands and legs would jerk back and forth as it played a tune. It was a very different design than the one Yuki had received.
いいのかしら。こんな素敵なものをいただいてしまって。いいんですよ。どうぞどうぞ。どんな音？聞きたい。そうですね。僕も聞いてみたいです。
Maho started to wind it up. As she wound it, Kaede turned off the music in the background.
じゃあ。
Maho took her hand off the winding key, and the mechanical yet gentle sound that was unique to music boxes began to play. The lively atmosphere at the lab was replaced by a feeling of calmness and peace. We listened quietly to the sound of the music box.
マユシーね。この曲大好きなんだ。僕もです。ポカポカした気持ちになるね。ええ、そうね。あ、そうか。この曲だ。
Oh, this is the song that she was humming earlier! Suzuha stood up as if she suddenly remembered something.
ユキさん、ほら、覚えてない？え？はい？
Yuki was spacing out so hard that she started to panic when Suzuha spoke to her.
私が寝込んでた時、ユキさんがここで歌ってたよね。ああ、そういえば。確かにこの曲だよ。
Suzuha seemed to be remembering something as her eyes narrowed.
ねえ、まゆ姉さん。これ、 なんていう曲？これは。
Mayuri was about to speak, and then... Huh? 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 Out of nowhere, the world twisted. I moaned in pain as an incredible sense of wrongness flooded through me. The whole lab seemed to twist and fade. Yeah, it's bad. It's bad, it's fucking bad. And the happy party I'd been experiencing warped and waved like a mirage. This, it couldn't be. No. Somewhere far away, I heard something that sounded like a violent crash. I was just barely able to move my eyes in the direction it came from, and I saw Fubuki falling to the floor as she knocked over a table. Kaede and Ferris ran over to her, calling her name, but it all looked so blurred, like I was watching a movie underwater, and everything was moving so slow. Their voices were getting further and further away. No matter how much I stretched out my hand, it reached no one and touched nothing. It was a terrible feeling, as if time and space were being torn apart, and even matter itself was losing its subjectivity. This feeling. Even if I didn't want to remember it, I knew what this awful feeling was. I knew it far better than I had ever wanted. This was reading Steiner. And the timeline has changed. Well, there's no 0. So that's good at least. All right, this is the chapter where the bad end happens. I'll keep going until 8:30 or until we hit the bad end. For the first time in almost 4 months, I felt like the whole world was twisting. Who was it? Who had changed the world line? I didn't do anything. I hadn't interfered with the world. So why was the world doing this to me? Oh, I see! That's no fucking good, is it? I opened my eyes. Things had already taken on different colors. The world kept wavering until once again it became fixed to a single point in time. I wasn't looking at a warm, cheerful party in the lab anymore. I was outside. It was raining. It's raining. And the rain was falling on my face in drops so large that it hurt. It was a midwinter rain. It was freezing cold, and I could feel it sapping the strength from my body. My view stopped twisting. I was staring at the broad back of a man I didn't know. I could hear the sound of many boots stamping through the mud, mingling with falling rain. The stench was terrible. The smell of sewage was so strong it hurt to breathe. And it was mixed with the awful smell of burning rubber and plastic. Where was I? What was I doing right now? Things around me had changed so much. I tried to understand the situation I was in, but my brain was having an awful time keeping up.
もう少しです。頑張って。
When I stopped, a rough hand patted me on the shoulder encouragingly. I looked around to see a man my age with a strong, powerful face. It was a face I'd never seen. I didn't know him, probably. The man was wearing the camo outfit and equipment I'd often seen the self-defense force wear in the news. He was carrying an assault rifle on his shoulder. There were 7 or 8 people around me, all dressed the same. They surrounded me in a circular formation and walked forward silently, as they kept a careful eye on the area around them.
この人たちは自衛隊員
I have a feeling you're not that lucky. Or if they are, I don't think they're on your side, man. And then I realized I was wearing the same camo uniform they were.
俺が
Oh, okay.
自衛隊員だって
I touched my bicep to check, but there was no muscle. I was flabby and weak. Unlike the others, I wasn't carrying any weapons. And what was going on here? It felt like these 7 or 8 tough-looking SDF guys were all guarding me. Since when was I that important? Still confused, I dragged myself onwards. Where was I anyway? It was a long path filled with dark brown mud. The walls formed a tall silhouette to the left and right. The path was filled with garbage and concrete rubble, and sometimes we had to force our way past it. I looked up past the high walls. Despite the rain, the moon in the night sky was strangely red and a little too bright. It was thanks to the moon that we were able to walk down a path like this without flashlights. Sound. I heard a sound. it was the sound of water. I looked over and saw a hole opened in one of the walls. Filthy water was pouring out. The water formed dozens of little rivers that blocked our path. So that was it. This was the bottom of a river that had dried up. What had looked like high walls were the river dikes.
ここってどの辺なんです？
I turned towards the man who had spoken to me a bit ago and yelled so that my voice could be heard over the rain.
大きな声出さないで。
すみません。
あと少しで都心を抜けます。練馬駐屯地の近くまで行けば車が用意されているはずですからそこまで。
But his words cut off there. Everyone seemed more tense than ever. One of them grabbed me and pushed me towards the side of the riverbed. Everyone put their backs against the wall and held their breath. I could hear the sound of a helicopter's rotors in the distance. No more than just one. They were getting closer. I had no idea what was going on, but I could feel my heart start to beat faster.
あの車の陰に入って。
Past several meters of rubble lay an overturned car. It must have fallen into the riverbed after the water had disappeared. The entire body was bent inward and the roof was completely crushed. I lay down in the stinking mud and slid into the shadow of the overturned car. At the same time, the SDF soldiers were issuing each other orders, as if this was something they'd planned for already. Two of them stayed by my side and everyone else ran back the way they came. Or the way we'd come. They all climbed up crevices and outcroppings on the wall, then disappeared over the edge of the dike and out of my view. Shortly after, those were gunshots. And not just a single shot from a handgun or anything like that. This was the sound of war. I could hear the helicopters get further away, drawn by the gunfire.
なんてことだ。
In this world line, was Japan at war? The Third World War. I remembered Suzuha's words. I happened to look inside the crushed car. I'm guessing nothing good is in there. I could see the corpses of a man, a woman, and a small child hanging upside down, still attached to their seatbelts. Yeah, that's pretty fucking bad. That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. They were all covered in dried black blood. They looked like mannequins at a bad haunted house. And then I realized I'd been so focused on moving forward that I hadn't noticed what they were, but I'd seen similar mannequins sunk into the mud. I could see their arms, the bones, and ragged muscle exposed to the air, reaching up to the sky as if seeking salvation. I put my hand over my mouth to stifle a scream. Those weren't mannequins.
今です。壁に沿って進んで。ルートを変えます。さあ、立ってください。
He pulled me up. My knees were shaking from shock and exhaustion.
仲間がソ連のヘリ部隊を引きつけてますが、それほど持ちません。早く。
Alright, we get to learn about the Soviet Union now, guys! Soviet Union, the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, created in 1922. After the end of World War II, it began a long Cold War with America, but the Cold War ended in 1991. It consisted of Russia, Belarus, Ukraine, Moldova, Georgia, Armenia, Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. I'm sorry if I mispronounced a couple of those. I have never seen those names before. I will be completely honest, I have not seen them before. I don't know how to pronounce them. I'm very sorry.
それ。
My mind was dulled from the terror, but it seemed like there was something off about what he had just said.
しっかりしてください。あなたを守るために、すでに何人犠牲になったと思っているんですか。
俺を守る。なぜ？
理由は聞かされていません。でも命を懸けて守れと自分は命じられています。それがこの国の未来につながるのだと。
I helicopter passed over the riverbed. The bright searchlight passed by for a moment, but thankfully the shadow of the dike hit us.
こっちへ。
The young SDF soldier, whose name I didn't even know, pulled me inside one of the holes in the concrete. When I looked closely, I could see that it was the entrance to a sewer. It was just big enough for a single person to pass through. Struggling against the flow of water that came up to my knees, I pressed on through the darkness. My sense of smell had already gone numb, so I didn't have to worry about the stench of the sewage. Once inside, we came to several branching paths. The SDF soldiers seemed to know which one would lead where, and they marched on without hesitation. And then we came out of the sewer and back into a riverbed. It was dried up just like the one we'd been through. I didn't know if it was the same river or another one, and the two soldiers didn't tell me. Either way, I was glad to be finally out of the foul-smelling darkness, and I tried to take a deep breath and fill my lungs with fresh air. But... halfway through, I realized that the riverbed smelled even worse than the sewer. I took an involuntary step back and then another. The sight in front of me was just that terrible. What was once a riverbed was now filled with bodies. Some of them had been burnt totally black, so it was impossible to tell how much death lay before me. In the distance, I could see what looked like bonfires. They were burning despite the rain. The fires were consuming the mountains of flesh that once were human bodies.
もうすぐです。きついでしょうが、走れますか。
The SDF soldier spoke to me, and then I came back to my senses. If it weren't for those two, I wouldn't have been able to stay sane. We ran through the riverbed, one of them in front of me, the other behind. I could hear the constant drone of the helicopters above me. Sometimes the searchlights got very close. Each time they did, I hid in the piles of bodies until they passed. I'd seen this many times before as I'd wandered through the world lines. I'd seen death. I'd seen the moments when people had died. But at the same time, I'd never experienced what happened to a dead person after they were left out for a long time. More than fear, more than sorrow, the thing that hit me first was the smell of death. Yeah, decomposition is a nasty, nasty process for the human body. The rotting stench ate away at my body, not my soul. My whole body was rejecting it. It made me feel sick. Thinking that way meant trampling on the dignity of the dead, but I couldn't help it. Valley of Hinnom. I remembered that phrase. That was what that strange attacker had said that night, when they came after Dr. Leskin and Maho and me. That valley was the origin of the word Gehenna, meaning hell. It was said that flames burned there every night, scorching the heavens themselves. Those who died merciless deaths with anger or misery in their hearts were flung into the flames, their souls becoming black smoke that rained hatred down on the land. What I stared at now was Gehenna. The two soldiers led me to a half-collapsed subway tunnel. The lights were all off because there was no electricity, but there were 3 armored cars in camo colors with their headlights on to illuminate the way. They were 4-wheel drive off-road vehicles covered in thick chunks of armor, but I didn't see any real weapons.
ここから地下鉄内を通って埼玉へ抜けられます。入間基地はまだ無事と聞いています。そこまで行けば関東を脱出できるはずです。
Iruma Base, one of the Air Self-Defense Force's largest bases, located between Iruma and Sayama cities in Saitama Prefecture. It's home to 18 units and around 4,300 personnel, and is also the location of the Air Defense Command Headquarters Flight Group. Interesting.
Kanto, 脱出?
話は向こうで聞いてください。とにかく急いで。
There were a lot of things I wanted to ask, but even as we spoke, I heard what sounded like gunshots outside the tunnel. The men forced me into the back seat of one of the cars.
それではご無事を祈っております。
あなた方は
自分たちには別の任務がありますので。では。
The two soldiers who had brought me here saluted, then turned around and left the station. I felt like I was never going to see them again. They didn't have sprites, so I'm assuming you won't. The door of the armored car slammed shut with a heavy thud. The car's crew were SDF soldiers, just a little older than me. The diesel engine kicked to life and the car raced down a tunnel that had originally been designed for trains. Of course, it wasn't a pleasant ride at all, but I didn't have any choice. There was no way I could tell them I wanted to go to Akihabara. I had no way to alter the world line. I had to survive in this hellish world. And to survive, I needed to do what they said. My wants didn't matter at all. I wasn't even allowed to express them. I just did as they told me and ran. It was all I could do. But I had no idea that it would take an entire month. Jeez. Alright, I'll read this out. Anonymous at Security Council. The story so far. USSR starts experimenting with a time machine and America goes apeshit. Give me that time machine! USSR. But I refuse! Eastern powers and Soviets get cocky. How does it feel to be... To be you right now, huh? How does it feel? This brings us to the end of your regularly scheduled Cold War. US. I'ma bomb you from Japan, hahaha. USSR. Then we'll invade Japan. US. Us. Oh shit. Right now. USSR is kicking ass. Hokkaido and northeastern Japan are screwed. Are they coming for central Japan now? People of Nagoya, get the fuck out! Amateurs who know nothing about strategy need to shut the fuck up. The SDF may look like they're retreating, but they've actually got a defense line at Mount Fuji. They're about to start a counterattack. The Mount Fuji line. Who the hell is dumb enough to believe the Japanese Imperial High Command? We better not start hearing calls from kamikaze pilots soon. Jesus Christ. Shut up, noob. Idiots like you are the real threat to Japan. Wait, what the hell happened to the collective right of self-defense? America's only interested in protecting Okinawa. So what the hell's the SDF doing getting sent off to Siberia? How are they supposed to protect the country? You protected Chicken Hawk. I don't want to fight. You want to fight? Go volunteer. They say they aren't getting enough recruits. Are they gonna start conscription now, do you think? What's the point of conscripting a bunch of fat otaku? They just get in the way. War these days requires professional soldiers. Says the fat otaku who doesn't want to go to war. Burn. There are barely any professional soldiers left in Japan. Our masters in America sent them all around the globe and then stuck them there. You guys will probably be getting your conscription notices soon. Good luck! I'm a chick, so I don't care! In other words, if we get a sex change, we don't have to go, right? The real enemies of Japan are its own citizens, huh, asshole? So seriously, are we going to be split up like Germany? It's likely. They say a provisional government is forming in Okinawa. They're all set to abandon East Japan and just have America protect the West. Those incompetents in the government might actually do it. Is this really the time to bash politicians, traitor shill? Traitor, haha, shill, haha. Strategically, America can't let go of Okinawa, and Japan wants to keep some kind of government. That means that making a provisional government in Okinawa is the best option. You bashed the hell of Okinawa up until now, and now you're telling me this? Shut up, traitor. So if I'm a traitor, what are you? You're posting on @Chan right now, which means you either fled the country or ran to Okinawa. Is this today's You Don't Get to Talk thread? My god. The internet really is the same as ever. It really is the same as it ever was. New tip added, W. W. A shortened version of the Japanese word for laughter, warai. Yeah, I knew that W meant laugh, which was why I was laughing. Whenever that came up. By adding a W to the end of supposedly it was first used in a non-Japanese online game. By adding a W to the end of a sentence or placing it in the middle, you can indicate that you find the situation humorous. On anonymous internet message boards, adding more W's, such as www, can be used to increase the amount of laughter or indicate that you're mocking the opponent. Examples of sentences, including WR. Whoa, WWW. Okay, WWW. And I'm WWW. Getting WWW. Excited WWW. Using W's this way is sometimes called making the grass grow because of the way that they look. So it's basically like the Japanese equivalent of lol 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 lol. The reason it took a month to get to Okinawa was that we were losing the war. Supposedly, the plan had been to ferry me by plane to Okinawa once I'd arrived at Hiruma base. But the constant bombing had slowed us down, so they gave up on the plane and decided I would escape to Kyushu by ground. There was more than one attack by Soviet spies and assault teams. Some of the SDF soldiers protecting me died. When I got to Sasebo, I was able to get on a maritime SDF escort ship and managed to escape to Okinawa. Why were they doing all this for me? No matter how many times I asked, no one would answer. Okinawa in winter was covered with thick clouds. So here's my theory on what the fuck is happening here. So it said that America's protecting Japan, right? And America's where Stratfor is from. And we know full damn well that Okabe gets tortured by Stratfor for like a decade. They are not protecting him for good reasons. I 100% believe that they are about to ferry him off to get tortured for information, so that this way they can get time travel too. Okinawa in winter was covered in thick clouds. Come to think of it, I hadn't seen a real break in the clouds for a whole month. They are protecting him for great reasons for them. Exactly. Not in his best interest, though. I was thinking about that when I was loaded into a van with dark-tinted windows that had come to pick me up from the port. Inside the car was not only the driver, but a middle-aged man sitting in the front passenger seat. He was very short, perhaps only around 150 centimeters tall. Oh, good God, he's like 20 centimeters shorter than me. That's like... I want to say that's like half a foot? Short king. But he had the air of a military veteran, and even though he was fully dressed, I could tell he was extremely muscular. I'm sorry, short guy who's also, like, involved with the military. I just had a picture of Coach Oleander from Psychonauts flash into my head. I know. Oleander's not actually a fucking veteran. He just pretends to be, but also... You do still gotta play that game. I highly recommend it. Psychonauts is great. I also need to play it myself a bit more. Admittedly, I haven't really played it. I've seen a lot of playthroughs of it, and I've like looked into a lot of like the characters and stuff. Very, very interesting game. I can't really think of anything else that has a story that's quite like it. Seeing playthroughs can be pretty equivalent, yeah. That's kind of how I got into Psychonauts, was just by watching playthroughs, and then I was like, hey, wait a minute. This is fucking cool. And then I got the games for myself, and I still haven't downloaded them because I need to get a new fucking hard drive, because mine is full. To be fair, I've had this computer for, I think we're hitting almost 4 years now, so the fact that I've been able to go without upgrading my hard drive until now, I think that's pretty good.
Okabe Rintaro君だな。私は防衛省中央情報保全隊の下山という。
Ministry of Defense, one of the central ministries of Japan. It manages and operates the self-defense forces. In 2007, it changed its name from the Defense Agency to the Ministry of Defense. Okay, so that did still happen in this timeline.
これから空港に寄り道してから彼らの沖縄防衛局へ向かう。長旅で疲れているところ申し訳ないが。もうしばらく我慢してくれ。
Alright. Okinawa Defense Bureau. One of the 8 local defense bureaus of Japan. It is the center of Japan's Ministry of Defense in Okinawa.
はい。
I'd heard that Tokyo had been destroyed. The major functions of the Japanese government were now headquartered out of the Okinawa Defense Bureau to allow better cooperation with the American forces American forces stationed nearby. Why was that hard for me to say? That was what Shimoyama explained to me. In other words, the place I was headed to was the core of Japan's defenses. Once I arrived, would I understand why I was so important to all those soldiers? Why I was so important that all those soldiers were willing to die to protect me? Jesus. I may need to end the stream soon, guys. I want to get to the ending, but also, I'm getting tired enough that it's, like, actively difficult for me to read at the moment. Car stopped in front of Naha Airport for a while. Okay, there's another tip. Let me just read that. An airport in Naha, Okinawa. It is the hub airport of the Okinawa area. The airport is also home to the Air Self-Defense Forces Naha Air Base. As of 2009, it was the 6th busiest airport in Japan, as measured by the number of arriving travelers. Interesting. And then I saw a surprising pair get aboard. Oh shit!
岡部さん。あ、本当だ。オカリンさんだ。
君たちはユキさんと中瀬さんじゃないか。
I wasn't expecting to see them there. But they were the first people I knew who had met since coming to this world line. That alone was almost enough to make me cry. But still, I couldn't just sit there and be happy.
マユリはマユリの行方を知らないか。
大丈夫です。
Yuki nodded as if trying to make me feel better.
さっきまで一緒だったんです。
一緒だった。
そうなんですよ。マユシーでしょ。ルミホちゃんでしょ。ルカ君、楓ちゃん。今朝空港に着いて、みんな防衛局というところで保護してもらえるというので待っていたんですが、さっき急に私と吹雪ちゃんだけ先に連れて行くと言われて、それでこの車に乗せられたらオカリンさんがいたってわけ。
とにかくみんなが無事でよかった。
Since Daru and Suzuha weren't mentioned, I was going to ask about them, but...
すまないが、積もる話は後にしてもらっていいだろうか。
Divide and conquer. Shimoyama cut me off and the car started moving.
沖縄防衛局には君たちのご家族もいずれ到着する予定だ。すでに我々の方で保護はしている。
本当ですか？よかった。
別行動になったお友達の皆さんもすぐ後ろの車に乗っている。離れ離れになるわけではないから安心していい。
I took a quick look and saw another identical van a little behind us. So Mayuri and the others were there?
じゃあ後でまた会えるんですね。
もちろんだ。
Yuki let out a sigh of relief. But then I started to wonder about something else. Why were we split into different cars? This van could hold at least another 3 people. If we squeezed tight, it could easily hold everyone. Or was there some reason they'd put me, Yuki, and Fubuki in the same car? The car drove alongside the Okinawa monorail for a while, then went south down a wide bypass. Okinawa monorail, the only railway operating in Okinawa as of 2011. It runs approximately 13 kilometers between the Naha Airport and the Shuri Castle, with a 30-minute transit time and 15 stations along the way. Nice. I'm trying. If this goes any longer than another 15 minutes, I am just gonna have to end the stream, though, is the thing. Like, I straight up... Like, I feel like I'm not even really processing the story anymore, to be honest. Like, I feel like if I go much longer than another 15 minutes, I will not remember any of this by the next stream. Like, I'm not joking. I'm fucking exhausted, guys.
何です？
Also, I was exhausted yesterday, too. I haven't been going to bed until like 2 or 3 in the morning lately. Last night, I went to bed at 11. Like, just because I was that fucking tired. And honestly, I'm probably gonna do the same thing tonight. It's like, I've been complaining about my fucking sleep schedule lately, and then it's like the world was like, oh, really? You want to improve your sleep cycle so bad? call it then? Okay, I'll get through this scene at least. I'll get through this scene because it feels weird to just cut off here. But whenever, like, if the scene changes, then
いやこんなに店が並んでるのにどこも真っ暗だから
there were lots of franchise restaurants, big supermarkets, cafeterias for tourists, and rent-a-car places all jammed together along the side of the road. But all of them were dead silent and their lights were turned off. Barely any of the streetlights were turned on, and the only cars were Japanese and US military vehicles. I didn't see anyone out walking.
10日間制と午後5時以降の外出禁止令が出ているんだ。沖縄なら安全とは言ってもね、戦時下なんだよ。以前のようにはいかない。早く戦争など終わって元に戻ってほしいものだ。
I have bad news for you, buddy. Wartime, huh?
なあ、岡部君。君の知っている沖縄は夜遅くまでもっと明るくて楽しい場所だったろ？
あ、どうでしょう。俺は沖縄は初めてなので。
それはもったいないな。なら次は楽しい旅行で来られることを祈っているよ。ここは本当にいい島だ。
The car headed up from the bypass over land bridge and into another road. It quickly came to a long tunnel. Okay, you know what? I will end it right here, I think. And then next time we may be able to get 2 endings. 2? We'll see about that. I don't know how busy things are gonna get. Hell, by next week I might have a job, so I'm not sure how that's gonna go. We'll wait and see though. Like, not 1, but 2! Ending 2! Alright, then we'll exit the game. Go to the just chatting screen. Yeah, sorry I had to cut it off there, but it's just... Yeah, I meant for this to be a short stream. Like I said, I didn't expect to go much longer than like 8 or 8:30. And that's why I had to cut it off there because, yeah, it's like I want to... On one hand, I understand, like... Yeah, it would be fucking great if I got the ending today. I would love to. I genuinely want to see the endings. However, I also want to make sure that I'm like actively enjoying the game and not just doing it because I feel I have to, you know? And I am genuinely enjoying it. Like, this is really cool. I'm gonna be on the edge of my seat for like the next week until I get to play this again. But I mean, I'm willing to do that if it means that I can actually come back to it with a fresh brain, a freshly cleaned, you know, smelling of detergent brain. What the fuck am I talking about? Anyways. All right, so we'll get into some end of stream housekeeping stuff because I don't really have too much else to talk about. So if you're new around here, you like what you saw, hit the subscribe button. Ring the bell, you'll be notified whenever I go live. If you want updates on things, like if you want to know when I might be late streaming one week, because I stream, I'm gonna try to keep on streaming every Wednesday at 6 p.m. If I do get a job next week, I may go on hiatus for a couple weeks. It will not be the same as last time, hopefully. The job that I'm hoping to get does not require me to talk to people as often as the last one did. The last job I had, like, I was expected to be on the phone like 75% of the time. That is not the case at this one. So, there's a good chance that I'll be able to stream during the weekdays. I don't want to promise it, because of course I have no idea. I haven't actually gotten to work there yet. I'm going based on what I heard in the interview. However, if I could, that'd be really good. That'd be great. I would love it. I would love it if I could work at this place because, oh man, I do not want to work fast food again. But yeah, so on Blue Sky, I usually stream Wednesday 6 p.m., but if something comes up, if I have to cancel, if I'm going to be a little late like I was today, it's all going to be posted on there. I've also got shit posts and stuff sometimes. I have not been posting there all that frequently, but the thing is, like, I said before, oh, I'm not going to stop using Twitter, I'm not going to stop using Twitter. I don't think I've posted a single stream announcement there since, like, the beginning of December. So, yeah, I've pretty much just stopped using Twitter, to be honest. And I'm glad for it. There was something else I was gonna say. Oh, yes. Okay, so I will actually be linking my friend Val's stream here, sort of a pseudo raid. Go say hi. She just started a new game called Wanted Dead. So I think that sounds like a good time. And speaking of Val, we're actually going to be streaming just this weekend. We're going to be doing another Great Ace Attorney stream because Jesus Christ, I think we started that at the end of 2021. It's 2025. We need to finish that game. We need to finish it so bad. Is there a raid command? I don't know how to live stream. I feel like I say that almost every time. It's like, fuck, I don't remember how to live stream. Let me see. Let me look it up. Raid command for YouTube. How to raid on YouTube Live. Redirects. How do I redirect on YouTube? Oh, okay, so I can do that. That's not too tricky. Okay, I think I should be able to do this. All right, so in that case, I'll send you guys all over to go and say hi to Val. Like I said, we will be doing Great Ace Attorney this weekend, which is gonna be fucking great. Now, let me just see. Live tab. Hover over the premiere you want to redirect from. Click customization. Wait, there isn't a customization option here. Wait, just a sec. It's not letting me. Just a second. Okay, sorry, I've still got to figure this out. This might take a second. Bear with me here. I've never done this before. No. Details, analytics, in control room. I am not seeing the thing that Google Help is saying here. It says hover over the premiere button, the premiere video that you wish to redirect from. Click customization. There is not a customization. There's details, there's analytics. Oh, is it only for a video? I might only be able to do that. I may only be able to do that if I've premiered a video, like, it says live stream too, really? Huh, let me just double check this page. Live stream on YouTube. How to use YouTube Live Redirect. Set up your premiere. Wait a few seconds for their screens to load the premiere. Pin a live chat message. Redirect your live stream viewers. Click edit. Okay, that's what it was. Or details, I suppose. Click customization. I do not have the ability to add redirects, it seems. Go to another channel needs to give you permission from YouTube Studio. Ah, that's it. That's something we're gonna have to set up. You can now choose if you want third-party companies to use your content to train AI models in studio settings. I do not. I do not, actually. I really don't want that. Okay, good. It's not on by default. Okay, cool. All right. Anyways, I'm just gonna link the stream. That was what I was gonna do originally. Before Great Ace Attorney, maybe we'll talk about setting this up properly, because especially that now that she's streaming, if we do happen to stream at the same time, it would be great if I could just redirect people her way. But yeah, so I'm gonna send the link. There you go. I believe that's the right one. Let me just double check. There you go. All right, we're all good. So, in that case, I believe that's everything. So, good night, everyone. Sweet dreams. I will see you all next time. Goodbye. God, that voice crack. Let me take that again. Let me take that again. Goodbye. That's better.